Welcome all, Ben here from EWPRO. Let's get straight into the weekly outlook, looking at the DXY on the daily. We're looking at this last section here. I'm looking at this A, B, C, and then an A, B, C, so we can get a little bit further up to this 100 fib. And then I'm looking for possibly more downside to finish off this wave C. H4, we had this bull hidden here, and we've gone up and broken the top again. We're starting to get bearish divergence now, so we sort of have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up now. So if we get a nice impulse down and a bearish setup, you could look to go and break the low. Other than that, we have 5 up here. So, if we get a larger correction, well, then we could look to buy. So it really depends on what happens, when we get this impulse down and what sort of correction it gives us. It might just be a C down, or it might go and break the low. So if we get something like this after an impulse down, well, you could look for the sell for at least a B, C. And ideally it goes and breaks the low. AU, looking for this C up. We've got an A, B, a C up in here. It's still possible that it's more upside, but yeah. Same as last week. We got a bear hidden here, so this can come down and break the low, and this is some sort of an A, B, C here, a flat, and then we get like A, B, C. So I am expecting a little bit more downside. The problem is the H1 isn't ready yet to give us that downside. We sort of have like 1, 2, 3. We're getting wave 4, and we get a wave 5 up here. We do have a bull hidden here. So I'd like to see another one up. You could look for a buy. There is no buy setup, even on the lower time frames. There's no buy setup yet. But if I just quickly go down to M15, if we get some sort of a lower low here and then a nice impulse up and a buy setup, well, then I'd look to buy to go and break that top. We're sort of getting a triple bottom here. I'd really like to see a fresh low, a nice impulse up, and then a correction to buy on the lower time frames. GU, we did get that A, B, C. It didn't get anywhere up near the 100 fib I was looking at. But this may be a correction, larger correction, before we get more upside. It's pretty much played out on the H4 how we're looking at it for, well, quite a few weeks. We're looking at that A, B, C, A, B, C. We're getting that C down. It's actually starting to turn motive, this. So it looks like we're getting 1, 2, 3. So you'll wait for a wave 4 and trade a wave 5 down now. Yeah, this has gone past the 100 fib here. Actually, sorry. Oh, that's an internal one there. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong fib. No, it's still just an A, B, C. Sorry, we get an A, B, C. It's just about near that 100 fib. So I wouldn't be looking for the sell at this stage. And there is no buy setup either. So you really need to just be patient on it. Unless you're already in, like H1, you'd be looking for a wave 4, like we got some sort of a 1, 2, 3. So you wait for a wave 4 and trade a wave 5 down, finishing off this H4C wave. EU, we got a C up in here. It bounced clean off that 100 fib. So we're looking for downside, if I can get my internet to work. Hmm. So H4, we're getting more downside, very similar to AU. We sort of have an A, B, C in here I was looking at last week. So I was looking for a sell in this for an A, B, C. It's going, but very slowly. Ideally, you would already be on this. If you're looking for the sell, you would be on this because this wave in here was very choppy. So this is your setup to sell. This can turn even more complex, like we get an A, B, C, and then we get like an A, B, C up in here, a flat, before we get more downside. So the only way you can really sell it now is if you get that wave up and then a sell set up to sell. Other than that, I'd be holding this at this stage until you see a reversal. And really been waiting for, like, looking at an A, B, C here. This pattern here still holds until this low gets broken. So, yeah, I am looking for a C up. It's just not giving us any bullish setups to get in though. So, very similar to EU. There was this in here. This is a sell, you know. Um, yeah. So ideally this does go down and breaks this low here, gives us a nice impulse up, a correction, and then we can look for a buy. I'm more interested in like this, a buy rather than a sell, but yeah, could have got in a sell in for that. Looking for this C down on GY on the daily. It's not going. We're looking for a sell in here for that. We got that. We sort of got a C down, some sort of an A, B, C in here. It's more bullish now. If I zoom in, so now we're getting like we've already got the three down. Um, we didn't actually get bullish divergence in here, which is surprising. But this in here looks rather bullish, possibly to go and break the top again. So yeah, you could look for the buy on the lower time frames. but I've been looking at this as all corrective, and I still am looking at that for some sort of an A, B, C in here. Again, it's not giving us any sell setups, so it's more on the H1 this, but we did get the 5 up in here, like that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I mean, we are getting bearish divergence, so ideally we get a nice lower low here, a correction, and we could look for at least 3 down, like an A, B, C. So, yeah, you got to wait for this impulse here, and then get a correction, and then a sell setup to be able to sell. As for the buy, you just be scalping into the trend on the lower time frames, which is quite risky after we get that divergence. You can looking at this as all corrective again, but again on the lower time frames we're not getting any sell setups, it's more buy setups. H4, we did get the 5 up here, But yeah, this is still looking rather bullish. If like, hey, I'd be looking at the H1 here. We got a nice impulse up. So if we get a correction in here, you could look for at least 3 up to go and break that top. So yeah, still looking rather bullish. The Swissy, I really would have liked this to go and break the low. Again, if I zoom out to show you the full, what I'm looking at on the daily. So I'm looking at that A, B, C. So I'm not convinced that this is the low. I'm thinking we'll get another lower low here, but yeah, again. See, I was looking for this to go and break. Like we sort of had 3 up in here, bounced off that 100 pip, and we had a nice impulse down. So I was just looking for three up in here. But this is starting to turn motive. I would have really liked to see just an A, B, C in here, and then more downside. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. So this is turning more bullish on the lower time frame. Well, turning more impulsive, which I wasn't really expecting. Like I said, I was just expecting 3 up in here and then downside. But yeah, it's turn motive now. So like we get 1, 2, 3. You wait for that wave 3 to end. Get a wave 4, and then you trade a wave 5 up. That's pretty much it at this stage. Wait for this wave 4. Other than that, you really have to wait until that low there's broken and then a correction to sell. So EG pretty much staying out of, at this stage, just pretty much staying out of EG because we've already got the 5 up. I'm waiting for some sort of a larger correction, and then I can look for a buy again, or this just comes down and breaks the low. So pretty much just waiting. After these 5 up, we got to wait for it's a time factor. So I'm just sitting on the sideline on this at the moment. And you'd just be trading. If you're trading it, you're just scalping. You're just scalping. Really need to see this low here broken, bearish setup, and then you could look for a sell. Other than that, you're just scalping, going with this trend that's quite choppy. So yeah, it's quite risky. WTI, like I've been mentioning for a long time, I'd really like to see this low here broken. It hasn't broken it yet, and it's giving a buy setup. So yeah, yeah. I mean, we do have to be quite careful here because that top there hasn't been broken, and we do have a bear hidden. So this could. We want 3 down in here, like 1, 2, 3, and then if it gives us a buy setup, then we can look for a buy for like an A, B, C up in here, and it may turn motive. But yeah, at this stage, I don't believe it's ready. Like I just showed, really need 3 down here. I'd really like to see like another one down, and then a buy set up, and then I can look to buy. Gold right up the top of the market, you know. So we're pretty much staying out of this as well. We're finally getting some big moves to the downside now. So yeah. The thing is, I don't believe the downside is over. We do have a bull hidden here. So we're looking for a correction larger than these over here, and we're starting to get that. I don't believe this is ready yet, though, to buy. Well, it may be. I'll have a look, but it's quite messy. There's no real nice correction here yet. Um, yeah, it is looking rather bullish in here though. So you could look to buy it on the lower time frames and just scalp it above that top and see how far it goes. I've heard it may go and break the top. We never know, but yeah, it's really scalping the buys at this stage. And then I'd be sort of looking for a sell because this is looking rather bearish. So yeah, not really much to do on gold at the moment. Silver's very similar, right up the top of the market. We're waiting for this. We got this A. We're waiting for this wave B, and then we trade that wave C up. So we're waiting for a larger correction. Again, very similar to gold. This is still looking rather bullish in here on the lower time frame. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get a little bit more upside here. Then you'll have to start to be careful, with the buys. Bitcoin, we're looking for a sell. It's more on the lower time frame. We've sort of got an A, a B, and a C in here. So I'd be looking for an A, B, and a C up. And then if we got a sell set up, I'd be looking for the sell for some sort of an A, B, C. So that's pretty much what I'm looking at on Bitcoin. S&P 500, it's just about up to that 161.8 on the weekly, that weekly wave 5. So, be very careful with the buys. Again, it's not giving us any bearish setups. This is still more bullish than anything. I'll just check to see if we are getting a bull hidden here. Yeah, we are. We're getting a bullish hidden divergence here. So, yeah, I'd be looking for a buy, just a scalp to break the top. Yeah. Yeah. AU 200 on the daily, right up the top of the market. Looking for some sort of a flat here, A, B, C, and then possibly more upside. But I'd really like to see a large correction here before I buy again. Right up the top of the market. So the FTSE right up the top of the market too. It's really taken off. So really all you can do is you know, scalp going with the trend at this stage. There is no sell set up on it. It's the same as all these indices. They're all the same. You're pretty much just scalping, going with the trend, and waiting for a nice sell setup, a longer term sell setup. Like I mentioned, they're not giving any. There's no sell setups. They're not giving any sell setups. So this is quite weird. That looks corrective. Gave a nice impulse up. Didn't break the top, and giving another sort of correction there. So this may turn more complex, but yeah, it's looking like a buy. Lastly, the DAX on the daily. This is all looking rather corrective in here. So we got a nice impulse up. We're waiting for a nice correction in here, and then we can look to buy longer term. But yeah, I'd really like to see these lows in here broken first. Like get some sort of an A, a B, and a C down, and then buy. But yeah, I'm not really liking it at the moment. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the weekly outlook and got something out of it. If you did, please hit the like button, share and subscribe. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you out there next week.